Before you enjoy your day off, remember the man who fought for every worker's voice to be heard. His name was César Chávez, a farm worker turned warrior for justice. He walked miles, starved himself in protest, and led thousands, not with violence, but with vision. Because of him, farm workers gained contracts, safer conditions, and hope. He reminded the world, "Si se puede," yes, it can be done. César Chávez didn't have an easy life growing up. Born from a family of American-Mexican descent, his parents lost their farm during the Great Depression. In order to survive, they moved to California to become migrant workers. You may think that that was the end of it, but his hardships didn't stop there. Chávez had to drop out of the 8th grade in order to work full-time in the fields, but this didn't stop him from wanting more with his life. Chávez always knew deep inside that change was needed. He entered the military during 1946 and served for 2 years in a segregated unit, and after his service came back to what he had always done since childhood, farm work. In those years of farm work, he found a wife to spend his with, who he would then have 8 children and 31 grandchildren. Helen Fabella, now Helen Chávez, was the figure that held the Chávez family afloat during their struggle. By 1952, he worked at a lumberyard in San Jose, where his legacy as a union leader and labor organizer started to blossom. Empathy, compassion, and leadership are traits that César Chávez had, traits that were necessary in his journey for better worker rights. During his stint in the lumberyard, he became the grassroots organizer for the Community Service Organization, CSO, a Latino civil rights organization. He worked tirelessly day and night for the next 10 years to make sure that the voices of his community were heard. He encouraged everyone to vote for better wages, to vote against racial discrimination, to vote for the right to be seen. He worked till he became the Chief Scientific Officer National Director. Yet things weren't as smooth sailing as they seemed. Oftentimes, our own community can be the source of our own hardships. By 1962, he resigned from the CSO as his fellow members refused to support him in his efforts to form a labor union for farm workers. Being the resilient person that he is, he refused to stop there. After all, that was just the surface of his legacy. In that same year, he used up all his life savings to found the National Farm Workers Association, NFWA, with fellow organizers in Delano, California. Having lived his entire life exposed to farm work, he knew firsthand the struggles that came with the profession. Sweating under the blaring sun and working among the fields, a profession like this, one would hope to be well compensated. However, expectations and reality are completely different. Farmers worked hard to provide food on the table, yet they themselves struggle to buy food for their own families. Given how physically taxing their work is, their health could always be affected. Unfortunately for farmers, they were not covered by insurance. Farmers truly lived in a system where all their hard work did not benefit them at all. It's not as if unionization was non-existent prior to César Chávez. It was just that the powerful agricultural industry of California fought back with all the wealth and weight of their political power. The end does not justify the means. César Chávez never believed in using violence to solve their problems. Instead, he was inspired by the approaches of Mahatma Gandhi and St. Francis of Assisi. With the establishment of the National Farm Workers Association, Chávez then joined with the Agricultural Working Committee in its first strike against grape workers in California in 1965. By 1968, Chávez called for a boycott against the grape growers for better compensation and worker rights, which would last for years. He would then win when many workers signed with the union in protest. Seeing that both parties fought for the same rights, the two unions merged a year later and were renamed the United Farm Workers in 1972. His hard work did not stop there. For years to come, he would work hard to make sure that more and more farmers were given their dues. Utilizing nonviolence, he continued his strikes and boycotts against the industry to make sure the voices of farmers were heard. When Chávez was faced with an Arizona law firm passing laws banning protests, he went on a hunger strike. It was because of his hard work and dedication to his fellow farmers that California passed the landmark Agricultural Labor Relation Acts in 1975, giving all farm workers the right to unionize and negotiate for better working conditions. Wages and working conditions were not the only problems, however. In the mid-1980s to 1988, he emphasized the dangers of the use of pesticides for farm workers. At 61 years old, he underwent a hunger strike that lasted for 36 days. After years of hard work, César Chávez finally rested as he died in his sleep at the age of 66. He was awarded by former President Bill Clinton a posthumous Presidential Medal of Freedom, the highest award a civilian could get. In 2008, Barack Obama used César Chávez's slogan, "Sí se puede," or "Yes, we can," in his successful run for presidency, a testament to Chávez's influence. This Labor Day, honor the hands that build, grow, and serve. Remember César, respect labor, empower workers. Hit the like and comment down below if you learned something new.